And as the sign would read, welcome to Makawao. I was going to butcher that name. I was practicing it on the drive up here to the Maui high country. And I stopped in a little shop and asked somebody, how do you pronounce the name? And she just said, Makawao. And I thought, oh, I can handle that. Makawao. So, welcome to Makawao. And it's a small little town that I read about as far as a nice little destination. And it is out of the way. I have been to Maui now for at least a dozen times over the years, but I never thought to take the road less traveled. And that road less traveled would take you to a place up here like Makawao, Maui. And, and it's wonderful. I had some time to kill. Today is my last day. Today is the last day of my trip. And I had some time to kill. I checked out of the hotel this morning at, oh goodness, at about 9 o'clock. And then I went down to what's known as Big Beach. I have to be careful not to get hit. I went down the Big Beach and I hung out at Big Beach for a little while. And then I went back to the resort. Interestingly enough, look at these buildings. So I went back to the resort, hung out by the pool for a little bit, and then after that I went snorkeling, and I swam with a sea turtle. It was right there with me. So, and I thought I would wind up the day up here in Makawao. And, and I've walked down the main street here. There's quite a few. Most of the stores, interestingly enough, are clothing stores. I see a lot of clothing stores up here on the main street here in Makawao. And there's a coffee shop here or there, or maybe a little art gallery. But here is Viewpoints Gallery right here. It's not a very big town. I mean, it is a small town, and it is unlike anything that I've seen in the years that I've been coming to Maui. And as I was driving up, just beautiful countryside on the way up here. And I'd be curious to know what the homes cost up here. Now here is Sotheby's International Realty, and I know that is a premier real estate company. They sell all the big stuff. No, I don't see chickens running around. Here's the Designing Wahine Emporium. As I said, a lot of clothing stores. There's the Hurricane Limited, Holo Surf Shop. Oh, there's a cookie shop. You see, they've got the cookie lady. So that is that's a shop that, unfortunately, it's not open right now, or else I might go in and get myself a cookie. But anyway, family residence in 1929. Look at that, the Maui cookie lady. So, and this would be just a typical shop that they would have here. I'm not going to go into the shops. I did go into what I'm assuming is the grocery store. You just don't want to know the prices up here. But it's very nice. I still have the better part of 3 hours before I catch my flight over at the airport. I fly out tonight and I go to Honolulu from here in Maui. A little bit of a layover in Honolulu before catching a red eye. There's their Rodeo General Store, established in 1979, upcountry Makawao. So there's the country store. And over here there's another shop called the Giving Bowl. Nice little shop. You know, I gotta tell you, I'm having flashbacks, big time, of when I was in Australia. This seems like a little town that you would stumble across somewhere in Australia and just be really charmed by it. It's just really beautiful. There's a nice little bakery that I think is closed up at the moment. And I'm just about to the for the end of the street. Another clothing store. There's the K Matsui store, whatever that is. Holiday and Company clothing and gifts. And they've got a Dragon's Den, Chinese herbs, crystal jewelry and gifts right there. So that really is about it. There may be other parts to the town here. Now here's a come in and eat or we'll both starve. There is the Mexican restaurant. What would a little town be without a nice Mexican restaurant? So, and there's the Casanova Fine Italian restaurant and cafe. So we got an Italian restaurant and a Mexican restaurant. Their hours are 5 p.m. to close, whatever time close is. So, all right, and they have a library just up ahead. But that's Makawao. Mackinac. Yeah, Mackinac. They have a place to do yoga. They had a post office just up the road. There's their public library right there. So I asked somebody if the weather here is pretty consistent throughout the year, and she said in the wintertime it gets cold up here. And I don't know what their definition of cold is, but I would imagine it's not anywhere near the cold that I'm used to back home in Boise, Idaho. So, all right, folks, there's your walk and talk of Makawao, Maui, Hawaii. So have a great day.